meeting and restarting.
All right. We are back. Week 5 of NFL action. But first, we need to talk about the Chicago Bears beating up on the Rams this past Sunday. And Luke and I had the pleasure of being in the stands for that.
Yeah, can you talk us through that? Talk us through that, guys.
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was great. I feel like I've got some kind of I might be some kind of lucky charm for the Bears. Lucky charm, because the last game I was at was I think I mentioned before, 2018. They clinched the NFC North, beat the Packers, and same result today. They didn't clinch the NFC North, but they won the game, beat the Rams. We were up in the nosebleeds, but it's a different atmosphere. It's a different experience when you're there in the stadium, obviously. So it was a great time. We were able to hit a tailgate prior to the game. So that was fun to be able to hang out, catch up with some old friends, and have a few drinks before we head in. Really get ready, get riled up, and Luke, you want to add any thoughts to the stadium experience?
No, I mean vibes were high, which was great. Had some really just encouraging conversations in the line for the pisser, with just
Do they have troughs there, or is it actual?
At the tailgate they had porta johns.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a really good time. Obviously, Bears win, so obviously everybody's in a great mood leaving the stadium. Really helps, the pill you have to swallow in terms of the overall cost of going to a game a hell of a lot easier when you walk out with a dub.
A lot of Rams fans, residual Rams fans.
There were a decent amount of Rams fans there, which is, I'd like to see just absolutely zero opposing colors, but given the history of the Rams being, kind of an almost in-state team, not surprising to see a lot of Rams fans there. Saw a few at the tailgate getting booed, which was awesome. Don't know why we would come to an opposing team's tailgate, but I guess if you're just down for a good time and don't mind getting booed,
yeah,
more the merrier. But yeah, really good time. First tailgate experience for me. Only second game I've ever been to, and we lost the last one last year. So good to get a win, and great time. Be there again next year.
Heck yeah.
Yep, bigger crew too. So Wargs and Tom Jim, we may have to set up a little table, get a little live stream going from a tailgate. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So tune in for that. Be ready for that next year. But yeah, as far as the game goes, right? Progression from Caleb. We were able to run the ball finally. I think the Rams, they're weakest defensively and then on the offensive line as well. So that was good to see from the offense that they were able to execute running the ball. DeAndre Swift obviously looked a lot better. So, he probably heard some of the chatter from us last week about, his ineffectiveness. And he was able to get a little pep in his step and make some moves, make some people miss. Had the big, I think it was about 40-yard touchdown run. He was also an effective pass catcher out of the backfield, which was great to see. And then, Roshan played pretty well too. I think he had a rushing touchdown as well, if my memory serves me correct. And then, of course, Caleb connected with DJ Moore in the back of the end zone. That was a great throw. That was in the end zone. That was closest to us. The stadium was electric. So, yeah. And then, I kind of called out Montez Sweat last week as a guy who needed to step up, and he did. He had the strip sack that flipped the field. The Bears were able to capitalize on that and put the ball in the end zone. So, it wasn't a perfect performance by any means, but it's progress. They won this game that they were supposed to win. And, they just got to continue building off this, because these next 5 games that they have are against not bad teams, but teams or games that are going to be winnable for them. So they need to continue to build, continue to get better on each side of the ball. But I really liked what I saw. So I'll pass it over to one of you.
I'll take it. Yeah. I mean, like you said there, I'll just transition into the next few games that we've got ahead, but we've got Panthers, Jaguars in London, right? I know it's overseas. Is it London?
Yep.
Then Commanders and Cardinals. So I think, the Commanders have looked very good. Jaguars have looked a bit streaky, more favoring on the bad side. Andy Dalton revenge game coming back to Chicago. So,
He's going to get a lot of revenge games this year.
True. Yeah. He's got a list. It's a long one, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the next few games here. I think it's more so going to be a barometer of where we're at in terms of the season as a whole. I mean, I mentioned before the expectations versus reality for the team to be 2-2 right now. It's about on par with what the preseason expectations were. I think to be 2-2 is much, much better than to be 1-3. 1-3, starting to have some more serious conversations. I know we had a commenter on our last video, which we always appreciate, saying that we should fire the head coach. I think you can make a case for that as well as the offensive coordinator. I don't think one successful week really takes the burden off their shoulders to continue to go out there and perform at a high level. But I think, again, it can make a bit of sense to do that now as opposed to holding on to them and then, firing them 1 year after Caleb's in and then starting a whole new regime, whole new offense and everything. So if we're going to stick with him, we've got to stick with him. I think that for the time being is the right move. Again, I was more so just addressing that comment in the previous video about getting rid of him where, I think there is a lot of value to that comment and, making that move now, getting an offensive minded head coach. But I think we got to play the hand we're dealt here and continue to see this through, keep up with the development. Like Matt Eberflus was saying at the beginning of the season here, continue to level up. We've seen that week over week. I know Luke's a little less convinced on that front, but I think we have seen a progression here from 1 week to the next. So I do hope that continues because this stretch of games here does progressively get seemingly more challenging. I guess we'll see where the Cardinals land by November 3rd, but that's not going to be a walk in the park. Games we need to win.
Luke?
Yeah, obviously happy with the win. And like Borgo touched on, I had mentioned last week that I was having a hard time seeing some of the progression that other people felt they were seeing with Caleb. And I think that given what I had mentioned last week, and coming to a realization that, and I'm sure this isn't different than a lot of other people, is that the performance of the team as a whole is very closely linked to what I perceive as Caleb's progression. And when the team is more rounded, like they were in this past week, and is able to protect him a little better, and run the ball, be more balanced as a whole, while also playing excellent defense. And obviously one thing we haven't touched on yet is special teams. Torrey Taylor was amazing in this game, but I was happy with Caleb's progression this week. He didn't seem like he had to force as much. Obviously, the volume was obviously very down in comparison to the previous week, and I like that. It's good to keep things manageable, which I think they did a better job of doing in relation to third down this week. In keeping, we're not looking at a 3rd and 15. It's a 3rd and 4, a 3rd and 5, maybe a 3rd and 3, where your playbook is much more open, and that goes back to being more balanced. If you're putting yourself in situations where you can do that, I think it's going to allow Caleb to progress at a more reasonable pace, I suppose. But loved what I saw out of the defense. Jaquan Brisker was amazing in this game. Sack, interception, obviously to seal the game. So loved seeing that out of Jaquan. And then Torrey Taylor was amazing. He probably single-handedly won that game for us with those 2 punts in the fourth. and being able to, he just puts the backspin on the ball in such an incredible way where it's starting to seem very almost like you're expecting it, which isn't always the case. So love seeing that. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah. How was it watching those couple booming kicks?
I did turn to Marty and I said, the second to last punt, I said that this guy needs to take another 10, 20 yards back. He just kicked the living dog shit out of that ball, 60 yards in the air. It was incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great to see.
Like on TV, you heard it. It was like boom, off the foot. This week, there was a lot. I felt like thought the Bears were a little bit down coming into this game. In a sense, fans weren't happy with the coaching. I've heard, they had closed door meetings with Shane Waldron, our tight end. Who's that? Real veteran tight end. Why can't I think?
Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah, Mercedes Lewis, Caleb, Keenan, those guys were like, we got to be more aggressive, is what I heard.
Yeah, I think we should elaborate on this point because that's a great point to bring up, Tom. Very odd to hear a report of players going to a coach and having a sit down with a coach as opposed to the other way around.
Yeah.
Like, thank you for bringing that up because it's obviously very strange.
Yeah. Going into that game, that's how it was feeling off.
Well, I mean, obviously, us as fans, we don't have that opportunity to, but that's what we've all been saying for the last 2 or 3 weeks is somebody's got to get through to this guy. We cannot keep running the same offense every week because it's not working.
Sure.
And sometimes maybe you're too close to see it, and you need those people who are also there with you to stop you and say, "Hey, we got to change something here."
Yeah, we need to figure it out because I think if this is true, they think they have the talent, and this guy came in and is not doing what they want for the team. I think after the game, it seems like, we won. People are hype on it, but I think we're going in the right direction. That as a team, believing that we can do it. So that was good to see, just in the locker room and stuff. Caleb, no turnovers this week, same as week 1.
One final point on the play calling improvement there. How nice was it to see that? What was it? 1st and goal at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, just had
Doug Kramer, U of I's very own, came in, just cleared the way for Roshan. That was sweet.
Yeah.
That's very, very encouraging.
Seeing that was big weight off the chest there. Watching the game, it's like, oh my god, we're gonna call a good game today.
Things like that. I mean, I saw a lot that Caleb wasn't necessarily looking for the deep ball all the time. He would check down. He had time to check down. And people made plays. I know, for one, Roshan Johnson had a little dump pass, and it was 3rd and 13 or something, and he got the first down. And I was like, and he made a guy miss, and it was a good play. Would not necessarily, he wasn't going for the sticks. So, or Caleb wasn't. So, I mean, just stuff like that was good to see from him. Our defense, obviously, I'm impressed with Dexter. He's kind of, I think he has 3 sacks this year, which is I didn't expect him to be as much of a threat as he is. And then obviously just the rest of our defense played well. So yeah, I'm feeling good. Just a win as a fan's perspective, and as where we're going as a whole for a team, I'm excited. But you guys have anything else before we get to the picks?
Yeah. So we're gonna introduce a new segment today. It was Wargo's idea, so we're each gonna give out a game ball to a player that we thought had an exceptional performance that helped the team secure the victory. So Wargo, I'll give it to you first, so nobody steals your guy since it was your idea.
Much appreciated. I think my guy would get stolen, to be honest. I think it's a pretty clear-cut game ball decision here, and that is going to go to our boy Tory Taylor. That was pretty sweet to watch. Flexing, getting the crowd pumped up. How many times do you get to see a punt where the crowd just goes crazy after the fact? And you guys were a part of that. So I'm sure that was awesome to be there and witness in person, but it was something else on just the broadcast to watch on TV and just have the electric environment after a booming punt. Just the numbers as a whole, he pinned him twice inside of the 10, I think once inside of the 5. Then he had the little chip shot there as well from the 40 where he kicked it, or 50 where he kicked it at. So yeah, just from top to bottom, fantastic performance. Good to see that 4th round pick pan out. I know there's a lot of skepticism around, taking a punter in the 4th round, and that's what you get. I think it's worth it just on that alone. It was awesome.
Yeah. I completely agree. I mean, to have that type of guy, I think he had 3 punts down inside the 10-yard line to put the opposing team's offense in a position where they have to drive the ball 90 yards down the field multiple times in a game. That's a demoralizing, feeling, right? They don't want to have to do that. They want to work with a short field. And with our defense playing as well as it is, that just compounds that for them. So that's yeah. I am going to have to go with Montez since I called him out last week. The strip sack, he stepped up. That was kind of a turning point in the game where, they turned around, they scored a touchdown right away, and just really never looked back from there. So I'm hoping that type of play will continue. With Jervin Dexter and Darrell Taylor, if both those guys continue to get pressure from their respective, wherever they're lining up on the ball, that's just going to free up Montez more to make game-wrecking plays like that. So he's got to continue that, but that was a huge play for me. So I'm gonna give it to him.
How about Billings? That was an animal out there.
He's a big boy.
Big boy.
I'm gonna do DeAndre Swift. I feel like he could have lost, his. I don't know. I doubt they would do this, like the coaching staff, but
Ooh.
I feel like there was some talks about him being benched this week, and he came out and
161.
Something happened, and he was hitting the holes a little harder, running a little harder. So I'm gonna give it to him.
He looked good when he puts his head down and tries.
Yeah.
Not that he's not trying out there, but just when he gives that extra effort, he looks.
I mean, we needed that from him, and he delivered, and that's saying something. And he was fired up on TV.
I'll go with Chiquan. Great game defensively, kind of at all levels. Obviously with the interception and the sack, but he also made some great plays in the run game as well. Really not a guy who's not afraid from the secondary to go up there and put his face in the fan and make some plays in the run game. So I'll go with Jaquan with some timely key plays there.
All great picks. All great picks.
Yeah, to have 4 guys who could get a game ball is pretty damn good.
Yeah. Just for reference on PFF, Montez Sweat was the highest graded defensive player. Brisker was 3rd, right behind TJ Edwards, who is just kind of the heart of the defense, right? On offense, DeAndre Swift was the highest rated offensive player, and Tory Taylor was actually the 11th rated special teams player, but I'm not sure what PFF puts into grading punts or punters, but it seems like they may need to change their analysis on that a little bit, because he really was a guy who influenced this game in a big way. So
surprising stat there. That's
So moving on to our picks, the flagship segment of, or I guess the secondary flagship segment of the Chi-Town Lowdown. So to this point in the season, we're through 4 weeks. Last week, Wargo was 5 for 16, bringing up the pack. 25 for 62 on the year. So got some work to do. Tom was 7 for 16. He's 28 for 62.
46%.
45.2%. Luke was 11, or I was 9 for 16, so I'm 31 for 62 on the year, right at 50%. And Luke was 11 for 16, 30 for 62 on the year now. So he has really come storming back these last 2 weeks.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go.
We knew that was coming, though.
This
We all knew that was coming.
Tom's guts coming out.
Wow.
And the channel has now been made.
That's the Sudafed talking. All right.
My
So-
gut's coming out, son.
Tomorrow night, we have Tampa Bay traveling to Atlanta, who is currently 1.5 point favorite at home.
Right.
Obviously, Tampa Bay is coming off a very good win against Philadelphia. I know there's a lot of chatter about Philadelphia right now and kind of the position they're in, especially at the coaching level. So you got to consider how much of that was attributable to what Tampa Bay was able to do against that team. Obviously, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith were both out, but Tampa Bay really took control of that game early. Baker Mayfield's playing great football. He's got great weapons with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Liam Cohen, is got the offense well oiled and running pretty good here in the early part of the season. And Atlanta squeaked out a win against New Orleans. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta here at home. I think it's going to be a really close game, but I'm just going to give the edge here to the home team. Really, I think it'll be a battle, but I'm going to go with the Falcons.
Yeah, same. I think I just want to back Luke's pick for taking Bijan Robinson #1 overall. He's been fizzling a little bit lately. That's not to say that he is not an elite running back. I think a lot of other people were considering taking Christian McCaffrey at #1 overall. Luke, to this point in the season, big brain pick there. So kudos.
Yes. Thank you. My brain is huge.
We know this. My brain is small. I'm not very good at making picks, as denoted by the record. I'm going to just go with Jesse on this one. I think Atlanta at home, -1.5. Take your easy wins. Easy pick.
Luke?
This one's tough. I feel like this should be a close game. I feel like I don't really know who either one of these teams is yet. Obviously, as Jesse had mentioned, what looked like a great win against Philly last week for Tampa Bay, but they had just lost to Denver the week before, 26-7. So it's like, who is this team? Is this real? Like I can't really tell. And that maybe that also says a little bit about Philly this year. Is Philly a real team this year? Because they haven't looked like it thus far. Now, granted, they're dealing with a lot of injuries. Their top 2 wide receivers are down, and that is probably playing into this a bit. But it definitely leaves me kind of wondering here in terms of my pick. I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to lean towards the home team here. But I think this should be a good game, good division game, and a good game to start off the week 5 slate. Tom, you got to go Tampa Bay, bud. Gotta go.
I feel like he was going to go Tampa Bay anyway. He's a Baker believer. He's a quoted Baker believer.
They call them hot potatoes.
I'm looking at the the schedule here. I just wanted to see who has Atlanta beat. They beat the Chiefs, or they lost to the Chiefs, who isn't
Are the Chiefs.
Yeah, but like they're not the same Chiefs. It seems like
That's true.
the Bucks
Patrick Mahomes is tearing his wide receivers' ACLs.
bad. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bucks. They beat the Commanders. They beat the Dolphins, or that was preseason. Sorry, they beat the Lions. The Lions are a real team. They lost to the Broncos, then they beat the Eagles handedly. I would say the Falcons. Maybe they beat the Saints, I think, too, but like barely. We don't know who the Saints are. I don't like that they're at home, but yeah, I'll take the Bucks here.
Respect.
Very convincing.
All right.
Big believer.
We got the Jets going to Minnesota, 2.5-point favorites at home.
Yeah, I'll go first here.
Just so everyone knows, right before we kicked off, Tom goes, "I'm not picking first this week." He made it through one pick, and then he's like, "I'm going first."
I'll go.
The horn, baby. Going Minnesota. I feel like I've been picking against them all. I don't know. They're good. They're the real deal. And Jets put up a stinker last. I mean, it wasn't ideal conditions, but there's something going on with Aaron Rodgers and the shiny-headed guy. So I just think that something's wrong there, and I'll take the hot hand here.
That's funny.
Although I don't think Sam Darnold's going to have as good as a game against that defense. But
yeah, I agree. Something is going on in New York. I think, though, there may be something to this Denver team that we're missing. They have a really good defense.
Sometimes.
And I don't think Bo Nix turned the ball over last week. Which, if he can do that, the defense can keep them in some games. But yeah, I've been riding with Minnesota to this point in the year. This spread seems a little unusual to me, though. It's closer than it makes me think some smart money's coming in on New York. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is familiar with the Minnesota Vikings. I don't know how much experience he had against a Minnesota Vikings team coached by Kevin O'Connell. I think they've got some injury troubles on the offensive line, and we know that this Minnesota defense has been giving at least younger quarterbacks trouble. Rodgers may fare better being able to pick up exactly what they're putting down, pre-snap, and maybe adjust some blocking schemes to help protect him. He usually does a good job getting the ball out quickly as well. I think I'm gonna deviate. I think I'm gonna take the Jets here on the road against the Vikings. I'm doing it. Give me Raj.
I'll take the Jets.
You're just going with what Jesse says today.
What? No, I'm not.
I am first in the standings.
He's going Minnesota. I like what you had mentioned about Rodgers being able to kind of see through some of the disguise that Brian Flores is so good at putting in front of a lot of opposing quarterbacks. He's a smart ass about it. There's a lot of sound bites of mic'd up situations with Rodgers in game, whether it be, practice or in a game where he's got somebody like barking in his face at the line of scrimmage, and he's just like, "You're not coming." Like he kind of knows. Like he has he's obviously been around for a very long time. And as Jesse mentioned, he has the ability to check out of a lot of stuff to a degree that, a lot of people can kill a play and just say, like, here, we're going to go to the second option. We're going to run this ball here in a light box or whatever it might be. That's one thing. But to completely check out of something into something that may not have been even on the radar prior to the actual play call is something that most quarterbacks don't have the ability to do in the NFL, let alone the permission to do. I'm sure he has the ultimate green light to where if he wants to change something, he can do that. So I think that the defense for Minnesota, which has looked very, very good so far this year, obviously against, I believe, Purdy, San Francisco, Houston, and
Jordan Love last week.
Yeah, these are young guys.
Shredded in the second half, but
these are young guys, and who don't have that same amount of experience. Good players, no doubt, but maybe don't have that same ability to kind of read a defense like Rodgers. So I'll take the Jets 2.5.
So you guys aren't worried about the cadence?
If Rodgers doesn't think it's a problem, I don't either.
Okay.
I mean, basically, Rodgers is kind of like the offensive coordinator of that team, and Saleh should just worry about the defense, which frankly isn't living up to what they were supposed to be. They need Hassan Reddick bad.
Carolina, Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay.
Carolina at Chicago. The Bears are 4-point favorites.
I'll go first. Go Bears, dude. Let's go. You know what I'm saying?
Dalton on them.
No. Bears get it done this week and feed off the hot hand.
What do you think this line is if Bryce Young's starting?
6.
Probably
7
at least.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he's not. And Andy Dalton revenge game, it's just not going to hit in Chicago. We're going to take that red rocket and turn him into a Red Ryder BB gun. Our defense is going to destroy him. I think
a red rifle. Red rifle. Red rocket is an analogy for a dog's erect penis.
Yeah, but J.J. Watt said it after a game when they asked him about his upcoming game in an interview.
Oh, God, JJ.
Yeah,
JJ's going to have a career. I like those Miller Lite commercials with Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go with the Bears here. We beat the Rams by 6. I think we should be able to beat Carolina by 4. By 5.
They're playing well, but I think we're playing better.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bears as well. I think the defense slows down this revitalized Carolina offense that has kind of been clicking the last couple weeks.
Yeah, more
than the two prior opponents that they have played. I think the offense continues to progress. So yeah, I'll take the Bears at home.
Yeah, I feel like people are really high on Andy Dalton. He is a backup, y'all. He's an old backup. And
he's playing very well.
The Dogs.
Cleveland at the Commanders. Commanders are -3.5 right now.
Milwaukee just scored 3 in the bottom of the 8th to tie and go ahead 2.
Wow.
Mets will win, dude. They're hot right now.
I'm gonna go with Cleveland here. Obviously the Commanders are on a hot streak. Jaden Daniels is playing out of his mind. They're gonna come down to earth a little bit, and I think Myles Garrett is a little upset about the way the last couple games have gone. Well, just the beginning of the season, frankly.
I thought you were going to call Myles Garrett a bitch.
No, he's not. He's very he's like the opposite.
True.
He's that dude. So I think he gets after Jaden. I mean, Jaden and Cliff Kingsbury, that combo right now is very dangerous. Jaden is a very smart quarterback. Deshaun Watson had his highest graded PFF game of the year last week. He's starting to play better, but Cleveland's got to run the ball to be successful. I don't think they were able to do that very well last week against the Raiders. I think they're able to do it a little bit better this week. So I think they'll be more balanced on offense. I think the Browns defense is they've kind of got a chip on their shoulder at this point. They've got something to prove. So I think that they go into Washington and they probably steal one here on the road.
I'm going last.
I will. I'm going to go with Washington. I think Dan Quinn has kind of turned the culture around there. Obviously, they're the darling of the league right now. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, James Daniels! Oh my God!" But I do think that there's something to a real leader of men, right? Which Dan Quinn has done a great job with wherever he's been. I think, whether going back to being a defensive coordinator for Dallas or his time with Atlanta, taking them to the Super Bowl as head coach there, even going back to his coordinator days in Seattle, there were some great defenses there. Legion of Boom, I think, was Dan Quinn when he was still there. Obviously, a ton of great players on those defenses as well, but I think he's doing a lot with less with the defense there in Washington. And then the offensive side of things, they're clicking right now. Jaden Daniels looks good. And I think that Cleveland is at a tipping point. And I think that once they get Deshaun out of there and they make the switch to Jameis, that they'll pick up some momentum as a team. I feel like it's just toxic right now. And until you get rid of the whatever that toxin is, like, yes, exactly.
Down.
Absolutely. Why'd you leave the keys on the table? I don't know. But I do know I'm going with Washington. 3.5.
Okay. Tom, you ready?
I'll go. Yeah, I agree with Luke. I know there's talks about trading the wide receiver. Why can't I think of names tonight? I got the Sudafed head, dude.
Devontae Adams.
No, Cleveland. He plays for Cleveland.
Oh, Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I know there's Amari Cooper trade talks as well as Devontae Adams, but I just don't think they haven't scored more than 20 points this year. I know they have a good defense, but going against this high-powered offense that is playing, they could be the best in the NFL right now. So I think that they will squeak by a win and score enough points to beat the Browns that are just not doing well.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Browns. Believeland. I've said it 1,000 times. I still believe. I'm the little kid in Polar Express. I can still hear that bell ringing in my ear. They came through for me on numerous occasions previously. Maybe it was just once, but burned into my brain. I haven't won that many picks. I know that they were one that I won. Bucks, Giants, Cardinals, Bengals. Washington hasn't really played an elite team. I'd say of that spread, probably the Bucks are the most elite team, or maybe the Commanders. A Freudian slip there. But yeah, no, give me the Browns. I think Jaden Daniels is good in a clean pocket. He's good under pressure, and that pressure is going to get to him more often than it's not. Myles Garrett's questionable right now. I think he goes, and I think he tries to get after that young buck. So yeah, they're going to muck things up out there in Washington, and they're going to come back down to earth.
Baltimore at Cincinnati, home underdogs. They're giving Baltimore 2.5 points right now.
That's just crazy.
This feels like a must win for Cincinnati at home, division game. Baltimore obviously feeling really good coming off that game on Sunday night, I believe. Yeah, against the Bills, just absolutely stomped them. It feels like setting yourself up for a high and a low. So it just feels like this can't be the final product for Cincy. And home dog, I'm going to take them plus 2.5 here. Something just is telling me that they'll keep it really close and potentially just get in the win column.
I want Cincy. I want Cincy to win. I think Joe Burrow's going to have a big day. I think they're going to connect on Baltimore's secondary a little bit, but I do not think they're going to be able to stop Baltimore's run game whatsoever. I think Trey Hendrickson is hurt. Their defensive line is terrible. Their secondary is not very good. I just don't have much faith that they're going to be able to stop Baltimore's offense. I know it's a divisional game, and this division they always play close, but I just don't think on the defensive side of the ball, since he's got enough answers for Baltimore's offense right now. I've picked against Baltimore the last 2 weeks, against Buffalo and against Dallas, and that didn't work out for me. I'm not going to do it again here, so I'm going to take Baltimore.
Yeah, I think Baltimore's defense looked really good against the Bills. Better than I expected, I guess. And they're so fast on offense. They just fly around out there. And I agree with Jesse. I think the Bengals defense just can't handle this offense, dude. So I'm going to go not the Bengals.
Yeah, I'm going to go with recency bias here. I did not think that Baltimore would play as well as they did. Was that the Thursday game?
It was Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay, prime time. I was close.
They wore the black. They wore the black. Cool, dude.
Yeah.
Or no, was that right?
I mean, you guys said it. Bengals defense sucks. It's a high-powered offense. They're going to get Derrick Henry going. Hill. It's going to be a lot of points. The over-under is at 49.
Dude, when Derrick Henry ran that however long touchdown, he got going so fast. I didn't think he was ever going to stop.
He hit the hole fast.
His top speeds.
That was
for a man that big. You're like,
yeah. They had like a camera in the end zone.
His quad.
Well, they had like a camera in the end zone coming at like him running at you. And I was scared.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry.
Make a business decision. Yeah, they're gonna shellac the Bengals. I don't know. It might be a high-scoring game on both sides. I could see, maybe Baltimore's defense doesn't quite hold up against Burrow and the receivers there in Cincinnati. So we'll see. Jamar Chase is very good. Joe Burrow is very good.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
But you're taking Baltimore?
But I'm taking Baltimore. Yeah, they're better.
Everybody's on Baltimore but me.
Yeah. Buffalo at Houston, a home underdog again here. They're giving the Bills one point.
Whoa.
That's tough. That's a tough one as well.
Houston squeaked out a division game.
I'm gonna go
you just
Buffalo.
cut me off.
You go.
I'm also going Buffalo, Jesse. Houston won a close division game against Jacksonville last week. Obviously, we just talked about Baltimore beating the living daylights out of Buffalo, who would look very good up until that point. A lot of people are saying, "Oh, is this team different now?" Like with this kind of like ragtag crew at wide receiver, no number one guy, so to speak. I think they get back on track, get a win this week. I think this is still a good Buffalo team. Not that I don't think Houston's good, but that's a taxing. Like I think Jacksonville probably threw the kitchen sink at the Texans last week, and they might be feeling the after effects of that a little bit. So I'll take Buffalo. Sounds like you're on the same. Jess.
Yeah.
I just talked you out of them.
No, I mean Buffalo, yeah, they got smoked last week. But Houston, they're pretty good. One thing that I think Buffalo's been doing a lot this year is playing a lot of too high safety, which obviously is going to be good against this Houston offense, which has tons of weapons. So, yeah, I'll take Buffalo.
I just got a live trade offer from Nolan.
Yikes.
While we're on the podcast.
What is it?
He is offering Christian Kirk for Chase Brown, straight up.
Oh, he needs a running back for this week against me.
He picked up Christian Kirk off the waivers. Yeah, he always tries to do that shit.
Yeah, and the thing is
he needs
Christian Kirk. He's a total. He's like the stereotypical sell high candidate. He's coming off 2 15+ performances, and it's just like
don't do it. I had him last year.
Jacksonville is so bad. It's just the second I would, if I gave up Chase Brown for him, he'd have 5 points or less every game.
If you did that, I think Zach Moss would get hurt, and then Nolan would have.
Oh, absolutely, instantly. And he has Zach Moss, so then he's completely,
He's trying to get that handcuff.
He has Zach Moss and he wants David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, and he wants Zach Moss and
Chase Brown.
That's pretty funny. No, dude, screw him. He doesn't have a running back against me this week. He's got to go pick one off of the waivers, dude.
Cam Akers is out there.
Who are you picking, Tom?
I'm going to pick – something's telling me, and I'm going on vibes this week. The vibe, man.
I feel like I've heard this before, like in every previous week you picked.
Maybe. But I feel like in my vibe, I don't know what these teams are feeling because the Bills just got beat pretty handedly. Texans coming off a big win, with 2 seconds left, right? Touchdown. I got to go Bills then because Texans are high. They're high, and they're going to come back down. Bills are looking for revenge a little bit, and they'll win. Okay, Bills.
Wargo opportunity for you to make up some ground here if you take Houston.
I was thinking about taking Houston. Bobby Slowick found up some sick offensive plays there out there.
God knows you need some makeup.
I don't know. I mean, the thing that the Bills have going for them is they got their ass beat so badly that they got to rest a lot of their starters last week. The old Trubisky was out there slinging it around. Seen him a couple times now. Might have to pick him up. So that's the only thing that I'm really thinking about there is that they did rest some guys. Yeah, I'm not going to go against you guys. I'm just not at a position with my record being very under 500 to really stir the pot.
I'll take the Texans at home. You switch me to Texans at home.
Loser.
All right.
Great pick, though, Tom.
Moving on. Indianapolis coming off a big win against Pittsburgh and Jacksonville, going to Jacksonville. Jacksonville is currently a 3-point favorite.
What do they know?
Right.
Well,
this seems unusual.
So where my mind immediately goes is that Richardson is questionable for this week. But you'd almost think, given what happened last week, that Flacco starting would appear to be a positive for the Colts, which would lead you to believe that this line doesn't make sense, as Jacksonville hasn't gotten a win yet this year.
But they did look better last week. They look
divisional game.
I'm confused.
Jonathan Taylor,
I don't.
High ankle sprain.
True. Good point, Wargo. Trey Sermon coming in.
He's going to put some sermons on
Might
them.
have bid a little high for Trey Sermon on the old waivers there, but
I think that might be a smart move, especially if Taylor goes to the IR. I think Sermon, he was kind of the Jordan Mason for San Francisco before Jordan Mason was Jordan Mason, right? Like he kind of had that similar run with San Francisco a few years ago. I think he's a serviceable guy, so I think that could be a good pickup for sure.
He's projected 1.3, so.
I mean, I have Jonathan Taylor at the moment, so if he goes to the IR, one of my seasons is pretty much completely, it's over.
I have 3 players on the IR.
I'm gonna trust this whatever Vegas thinks is happening here. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville to get their first win of the year against a division opponent at home. -3.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I said, Jacksonville played better. I watched a little bit of that game, and Trevor Lawrence didn't throw over it too many people's heads. He hit he missed 2 touchdown throws, I believe. I watched some highlights.
A good game for Trevor Lawrence is only missing 2 touchdown throws.
So, no, they just looked. I could eat my words here, but I'm gonna agree with you, Jacksonville.
You guys are gonna pick against an elite quarterback on the road in Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco.
I was high on him and Mason Rudolph this week, but I'm going against my thoughts.
He was high on Joe Flacco and Mason Rudolph. Now he's high on Sudafed.
Oh, shoot! I need another dose.
I'm all turned around here. You got me twisted up like a gosh darn pretzel.
You know who's even more inaccurate than Trevor Lawrence is Anthony Richardson, if he plays.
He's not. So give me Indianapolis. Road dog.
Jesem.
Road dog, as you would say, Luke.
I'm going to take Indianapolis as well.
Something in the water. Trey Sermon, Joe Flacco.
What we got next?
Miami at New England. New England is a 1-point favorite at home.
Dink fat, dude.
Yeah. Miami, I don't know, man.
Not worth
they're
watching.
in trouble. Yeah, but New England's bad.
Dude, Miami
Daniel not looking so swaggy anymore.
Miami, like, they came out on the field and you can like visually see the badness of it. They're like
the badness.
like at least hide it, you know? Like shoot, they're not even playing out there.
I'm gonna take Miami. I don't believe in New England. I think their offensive line is really bad. Ramondre Stevenson can't hold the ball.
Also on my fantasy team.
Jacoby Brissett he's under pressure often. They don't have any wide receivers. I think Miami figures out a way to get it done.
I feel like New England beat the Bengals, so they're competent enough if they need to be, and I feel like they're going to come out. And this Miami team is just—they're not the same team without. Oh God.
Tua,
dude. I was thinking Puka, but it's Tua. Puka Nacua Tua.
Same, but different.
They're not the same team, and I watched that game too on the Monday night, and I was like, the last 2 weeks they've been so bad. So I can't pick them. I can't.
New England for Tom. All right.
Where go?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry. Jesse, Tom, you're on Miami?
I'm on New England.
You're on New England. Jesse's on Miami.
Yeah.
So we've got a 31st ranked offense versus a 28th ranked offense. Overall power ranking in Miami at 24, New England at 29.
Well, also, where's the Dolphins' defense, dude? I thought they were supposed to be good this year.
They're gonna show up this week.
Yeah, I can't go with the lefty and brisket. I'm not going to risk it with the brisket. Give me Miami. Luke is very disappointed in the Miami picks.
I mean, I just don't like this one's tough. It's just like who sucks more.
Yeah.
There's two people who have picked Miami thus far. Only one that's picked New England. I'm gonna go with Miami.
Gosh darn it, guys.
Tom's on the opposite end of 4 picks right now.
Tom,
like
go first
Jesse
on this
said,
next one,
Miami's
please.
defense steps up this week, wins the game for him, scores more points than the offense.
Yeah, it's possible.
Tyreek Hill punt return for a touchdown.
This Tom is either going to take a big lead on us this week, or he's going to fall behind.
Yeah.
All right, Arizona at San Francisco -7.
I'll take San Fran.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked against the 10 spread last week with Patriots. Stupid. So I'm gonna take San Francisco.
San Francisco.
Yeah. Arizona's been struggling the last couple weeks. This is a divisional matchup. Last divisional game they had, if I remember correctly, was against the Rams. It was at home, but they got it done. I'm gonna go with Arizona.
We're all over the place this week.
Yeah, I NFC West. Watch those matchups. Weird stuff happens. I like San Francisco to continue rolling here, but I think Arizona can keep it close at home. Or I'm sorry, they're on the road.
Yeah.
I think they can keep it close on the road.
I disagree. Give me San Fran.
Thanks, Morgan.
You got it, boss. Marvin Harrison Jr. is sick, though.
If they throw him the ball, it's like
Yeah, feed him.
There's got to be.
well, it's like them and Atlanta. Like I'm pretty sure Bijan got I don't know, 3 carries in the second half that they lost.
Algier played better. He was more efficient.
It's just
what happened with Breece Hall last week? 10 carries for 4 yards. What?
Rough
I
conditions.
didn't get to watch any of the other games. Like what? The
Yeah,
hell
I
happened
missed
there?
it.
I'm just blaming on the rain for that game. I don't know what happened, but a 10-9 game,
Wouldn't you run the ball more in the rain?
I'm just saying, it was tough. It was tough out there.
Denver's defense. Speaking of Denver, Las Vegas at Denver, -2.5.
Denver is.
Yes.
I'm gonna go with Denver. I'm gonna go first. I like going first, I guess.
No one's forcing it. It's just you doing it,
Yeah.
and then the next week being like, "You guys can't make me go first again."
That was
Like
the first time I said that.
No one's making you go first. You just jump out
Uh,
and make the first pick.
I just like to make my opinion known. I think Jesse got me on Denver. I'm just on Denver now.
I'm on Denver too. They're playing good. They're playing fundamentally sound football at the moment. And Las Vegas, they're going to be without Devontae Adams. They have some other weapons, but I'm not sure if Max Crosby's going to play or not.
They're also they're one of those teams that are the vibe check. They're not passing it with Devontae Adams wanting out. Their head coach is a little bit scary.
Antonio Pierce is liking Devontae Adams.
I feel like, yeah, I feel like he could just,
Yeah.
he could just.
So for that
put a
reason,
whole new team in there. That coach, I can see him just being like, "You're all out. Give me a new team."
This is a divisional game, right?
Yep.
Broncos are 3-1 against the spread. Sheesh. Tom, can you give me a horse noise? Give me the Broncos.
This just feels like an interesting spot for the Raiders.
For sure.
Sometimes when you have this like fork in the road with teams and like a big name player like this, when they kind of part ways, the team is almost kind of like motivated by that. It's like you're either on the boat or you're off the boat. We're leaving your ass behind. See you later.
Jack Sparrow.
And a team can rally around that, where it's like, especially with a coach like Pierce, former player, and not just like a former like backup guy. Like this is like he was a legit player for a long time in the league. He was on championship teams with the Giants back in the day. So like he I feel like he has a feel for these guys in the locker room, and to take a stance with Adams where it's just like, you're not happy. Okay. We don't need your ass. Okay. Like you're gone. We don't care. We'll move on without you. I feel like in the past, there have been situations, I can't name them off the top of my head, but I feel like there have been situations where that's benefited the team and they've kind of rallied together and played better moving forward because of it. I think wherever Adams ends up, he's going to be one of the more valuable in-season pickups for whatever team he lands with. Probably end up being a circle jerk in New York with Aaron Rodgers, but that's to be discussed at a later time. With that being said, I do like Denver's defense. Pat Surtain is amazing. Obviously, he now doesn't have to worry about the best opposing player on the other team. So it's officially Locktober for Denver's defense, and I think Sean Payton is going to outcoach Antonio Pierce here. So I'll ride with you guys with Denver.
You actually convinced me, Luke. I'm going to switch my pick to Las Vegas.
You see, this is my secret weapon. Talking up the team and then picking against the case that I just made to get someone to switch over.
You are the one that gets me to switch my pick the most, I think.
All right. So I'm the only one on Vegas there. All right, whatever.
Jesse will be texting us following the podcast. I'm switching back to Denver.
No, I'm going to stick with it. Green Bay at the Rams. Home underdogs, giving Green Bay 3 points.
I was about to just go. Like, you guys go.
I'm taking Green Bay here.
Something before I start talking.
I want to gas you up here. You haven't asked for the line once yet this podcast. I feel like you got to ride the hot hand and just keep going.
Yeah. Green Bay.
Yeah, the symbiotic relationship between Sean McVay and Matt Stafford can only get you so far. We've seen that now the last few weeks. I'm taking Green Bay. They're a good team.
Jordan Love was hot the second half of that game. He came back like he was a little rusty, and then he was like letting him rip. So I think he's gonna let him eat, dude.
Yeah, I'll take Green Bay for all those reasons. We got to get Josh Jacobs going, though, a little bit. He is my running back on fantasy naturally, as well as Jordan Love, my quarterback. At halftime, seeing him with like -3 points, not a good sign. Fortunately, the team that I have Jordan Love starting for did score 212 points in a 12-man league. So I think it would have been just fine had he finished the game with 8. But all that to be said, he balled out in the second half. Keep riding that momentum. 3 doesn't really even make sense to me here. And we're in Green Bay? Yeah. Oh, no, we're in LA. Ooh.
In LA, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's really not a factor. Green Bay.
I'm on Green Bay as well. I feel they kind of put themselves in a hole early last week from what I'd seen when I was kind of just following the game on my phone. And chances are, had they played like they had played in the second half, that they probably beat the Vikings last week. So I'll take Green Bay to cover against the Rams, who were just
Parkinson's tight end guy. That guy was cool. He was good.
Who's in prime time this week? Are we at prime time?
Not yet. New York Giants at Seattle, -6.5 points.
Seattle went toe to toe with Detroit there for a while last week. They were just kind of going punch for punch, which was surprising to and encouraging to see. I would assume if you're a Seattle fan to go with such a high caliber offense like Detroit. Detroit ends up winning, I think 42-29 is the final. But they were in that game. And, playing in Detroit, I'm sure that's tough. I'm sure they're going to be hungry for a win this week. And I can't remember what game I had made a point similar to this about, but the Giants, it felt like it was Jacksonville against Houston last week. I feel like the Giants tried to throw everything they could against Dallas last week to win that game, that division game, and they just couldn't pull it off due to probably just a lack of talent overall. The only thing that's making me pause is the extended. So if I remember correctly, Dallas, New York was Thursday night game. So New York's had a little more time to prepare for this. This one's tough.
I think Neighbors is out with a concussion.
Neighbors is going to be out. They are taking concussions very seriously.
It says he's questionable right now. He didn't participate in practice today.
He knocked the shit out of himself. Just totally broke his fall with his face. Just put a hand out next time. That is big.
Brian Burns questionable as well.
Without Neighbors, that offense is booty cheeks. And given what the league is kind of, anytime Tua gets a concussion, it's like all of a sudden concussions are a 2-week injury now. Like it used to be back in the day, concussion was like a 1/2 injury. Yeah. Oh, your brains are scrambled eggs? Go ahead and get back out there, but we don't give a shit. Now it's like concussion, okay, 2 fingers happening, and we just can't have those kind of optics on the field anymore. So if Neighbors is carrying a questionable designation now, didn't participate in practice today, I'm going to say he sits, and I will take Seattle at home, 12th man.
Yeah, this is the largest spread of the week. I am a sucker for the big spread. Vegas doesn't hand those out for no reason. I agree with a lot of what you said there. The Seahawks look good. They look very good. Jackson Smith and Jigba. The pick on that last play there was a bit unfortunate. I think I was live betting the over like a fiend just because you got to get while the getting's good. And that number just kept going up. So I finally missed the 73.5 that I took or whatever. But yeah, they looked very good from a lot of different facets. Kenneth Walker in the first half was cheeks, and I just came in and live bet his over for rushing. Just got very good odds on that. And
he had a good game.
That was an electric game for me at the betting stakes. Seahawks,
He's reliving it right now.
They're gonna run away with this one. Yeah.
I mean, Gino is slanging that thing, dude. He's
top 5 quarterback in the NFL. Nolan would say.
I was about to just say. Yeah, shout out Knowles, but he's not that good. But I think he's playing well, and Kenneth Walker's back. He looked really good. I'm gonna take Seahawks.
Let's go.
Yeah, me too.
Boom.
Me too. Dallas at Pittsburgh -2.5 points. I'm going to take Pittsburgh here. Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence are both not playing. Justin Fields is going to have a heyday on their defense. It's in Pittsburgh. Yeah, give me Pitt.
Same. All the same reasons. Without Parsons and Lawrence, that's tough.
Do they get any cred for this?
Yeah, I want to pick Dallas so bad, but I can just see – I don't know why. I can just see Dallas. Here we go, and just dropping back, throwing picks, dude. And, yeah, I don't know.
There was a guy next to Jesse with some saying some fun things at the game last week.
He kept doing that. Here we go.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
We're not even at a Dallas game. But yeah, I think
What else was he doing? He was like barking like a dog too.
Oh yeah,
how drunk was this guy?
Yes.
he wasn't even drinking.
He was wearing a cowboy hat, wasn't he?
No,
There was a guy down there that had a cowboy hat on.
that was probably the here you go guy.
Maybe that would make sense. Yeah, I don't know. I just can't get the. I feel like Dak's gonna be throwing picks, and Justin Fields is gonna play just good enough to get him through.
All right, Tom's on Dallas.
I don't disagree with a lot of what you said there, Tom. I think it could be a bit of a momentum swing here. My problem with that is just thinking of Dallas as a gritty team. They definitely just seem like the ones to roll over and die, not fight at all. Just be like, look at all the reasons why we're not going to lose. Of course, we're not going to win this game.
Micah Parsons out.
CD, did I hear?
CD is playing.
Okay.
I feel like if he wasn't playing, this line would be bigger.
Give me Dallas on the road in Pittsburgh.
Oh
Crazy.
my goodness, what a pick!
Yeah.
That's where you want to take your chance.
That's where I want to take my. No, I'll lock that.
New Orleans at Kansas City minus 5.5 points. This is the Monday night game.
The Sunday night game.
The Dallas Pit is the Sunday night game.
We get to see Justin Fields in prime time, baby.
Woo! Fun.
So wait, Kansas City, what?
New Orleans at Kansas City minus 5.5.
Give me the Saints, baby. The Saints go marching in. Na, 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 na.
First pick again. There it is.
Yeah, Kansas City is just obviously. I mean, you can only go so far with coaching and a quarterback, like you said.
It's not a quarterback. It's
like you said. Hey, like
You
said,
can only go so far with coaching and a quarterback, and so far is an undefeated season.
okay, but they've squeaked by, dude, and I don't like picking against Kansas City in prime time.
You should have picked against them last week because the Chargers covered.
All right, I'm gonna pick Kansas City.
And on that note, Jesse's going with New Orleans.
Yes, I am. Because Rashee Rice is not playing. Kelsey's going to have to step up, right? Is Xavier Worthy their number one wide receiver now? Kansas City's defense is really good. Their run defense is especially good. So
they're really good at building a wall where it's just like if they don't want you to run, you are not going to run. And then you're one dimensional, you know.
-5 is a little high though.
Their ability to develop young defensive backs, and then when they're ready to get paid, just be like, go get paid somewhere else. We're just going to get another one of you and train that guy how to do exactly what you did. Like that's Kansas City's defensive model. I don't understand how they do it. So they're all around their defense is solid. But this New Orleans offense is good too. So I think they give them enough trouble, and their defense is able to stifle Kansas City's offense enough, being a little bit depleted. I mean, Rashee Rice was a huge component of their offense. So yeah, give me New Orleans.
I'll take the Chiefs at home in prime time. I'm going to get Travis Kelce going. Got him going a little bit. You know, Derek Carr's going to cry.
But if he cries, the black eyeliner will run.
I'm a little bit torn here because I get the point that Tom's trying to make. It seems like they're squeaking out these victories, and you know, obviously the Saints are not what a lot of people anticipated they would be this year. They seem to be much more competent on offensively, especially. I haven't had an opportunity to watch the Saints play yet. I'm just going off what I've heard. So I can't speak like I've actually seen their defense play. But from what I've heard, they've been competent as well. Hopefully Patrick Mahomes takes out Kelsey this week. And then just the streak continues. He fucking throws an interception, just blows out both of his knees.
A thing that I
keep, he can throw the shit out of the ball, but you got to keep your head up when you're making a tackle, even if it's against your own teammate. Right?
His tackle was hilarious.
Just blindly dives, and then just Rashee Rice's knee just implodes on national television.
Speaking of, Chubb's coming back this week potentially.
No, dude, he
came back to practice, but I don't think he's gonna play.
No,
I'm gonna go with Jesse here, with New Orleans, just to keep it close. I think Kansas City squeaks out another one here.
So just Saints played the Panthers, the Cowboys, and the Eagles, and then lost to the Falcons.
Did you pick Kansas City, Tom?
Shitty teams. Yeah.
Tom switched to Kansas City.
Yeah. I'm Kansas City.
Well, boys, that wraps it up. That wraps it up for week 5, picks against the spread.
We got to make locks.
Oh, yeah, locks.
Lock it down.
Anybody got anything they like?
Just so everybody knows out there in the world, if whoever I'm locking, pick against me. Because I am over on the lock department.
Only 2 of our locks have hit all year, so that's 2 out of.
That's so bad.
2 out of 8 so far. 25% is not bad on a lock.
4 per week.
Okay, 2 out of 16.
So 2 out of 16.
I'm gonna go Seahawks.
1 out of 8. Tom likes the Seahawks.
I think that defense is enough, and that offense
You're picking the biggest spread.
What?
I hit on that last week.
San Fran's the biggest spread. I misspoke.
Oh yeah.
I'm locking it in. I don't give a shit.
He doesn't.
No.
I am gonna lock in.
Jesse's getting in my head there. You see that, guys? Did you see that?
I'm locking in Baltimore.
Jesse,
I'll take San Fran for the lock.
Tough divisional game, Jesse. Don't think it's gonna be low scoring.
War goes on San Fran.
No, I don't.
Oh,
But what does that have to do with the spread?
It's just gonna be a close game. I don't know.
We'll see.
this is gonna seem crazy. This is gonna seem crazy, guys.
You're gonna take the Jets.
Jacksonville -3 against Indy.
What?
Must win.
0-14.
Did you guys hear when he got asked about his head coaching position? Doug Peterson.
No.
That was awkward. It was like
He said he hadn't thought about it. He's like, that's a strange question. Like,
yeah. And it was like
It's a
so
strange
hard
question?
to read him.
how do you think this works?
Yeah.
But
Must win.
something's telling me Jacksonville gets
2-run shot by Atlanta, top of the 8th, 5-4 ball game.
Yeah.
Not gambling on this game live. Yes, I am.
Sure.
All right.
And that's some cash money in the old bank right there. Baby.
Tom, wrap us up.
Well, that was another episode, Chi-Town Lowdown. Good luck to you guys, and hope we have another good week of football.
Bear down, boys.
Bear down.
Go Bears.